Hi. So we have two ways to style our element. So number one, that is the class, right? We can style our element. If we have some element, we can give style there using the classes. So we have seen which directive is responsible to bind classes, right? So we have seen the ng classes and class, right? Class dot single class, right? And class name, and the second directive is the ng class, right? It will take the object and you can bind multiple class name there, right? And there you can give the single class, right? Now you have another thing. You can give the style to div this using inline style, right? Style property, you can give the inline style to this div. So for this we have style binding in our angular, so we can directly bind native property of any element, that is called style, and we have ng style as well. So this is the property is coming from the angular itself. Okay, now we see how this work there. Okay, so this is our the same example, last previous lecture example. So what I was showing there, this class and class checked in. So just for your clarification, just I want to say, suppose this is the class, this is the native property, right? And in JavaScript I already told you, right, every HTML element represent differently in JavaScript in object form, right? So in HTML we say class, right? And in JavaScript we say the same thing is the class name. That's why this class is not the native property. So this is the, if this is not the native property, then this property has been given by the angular, definitely, right? Otherwise this will angular will give error if we write any invalid property. That will be error. Either this would be any native property of this span or any property which is given by the angular, right? So this, I just show you. So I just come on any span, I just refresh and console, and just I show you one span. Okay, so this is about the $0. I just open console dot log or $0. Okay, so this is the $0 span. Okay, now I do the now I see the JavaScript form of this span. Okay, when you see there, now I search class name. Okay, name. So you see there is the class tour status and checked in. There is the classes, right? If you see there in our, there we have two classes, tour status and checked in. So our in console, this class is represent using the class name. So if we need to bind this class name, we can do this, right? If you do this class name directly there, that is perfectly fine, but there's one problem. What problem? You know, I tell you. If you do this, right, class name, now if you need to give some class name like checked in, right, so you need to get checked in. Suppose you want to give the checked in. So first of all, this will try to find this inside the class. Okay, because this should be an expression, because in HTML we give the class using class, right? So if we need to if we need to do the property binding, we need to give the expression. So this is not the expression, this is the string. So I can directly give the string form there, right? So I give single tick there, single bracket, single quote. Okay, so this is the checked in, and if you see there is the red circle and green circle gone. Why? Because this class overwritten this class to status. See, now if you see there is the checked in. If I write this tour status next, control X, what will happen? Let's see what will happen. Again this class checked in overwritten this class, right? So you need to very careful when you are binding class with the span. You don't have to bind like this. How you will bind? You will bind using the class directive, class property, which has been given by the who? Angular. Now if you see this, right, if you see this tour status, this is there, and this is checked in as well, right? So if you bind the native property of span, this will overwritten whatever class is already there. So that's why you need to use class, not the class name. Okay, now this lecture about the ngStyle. Okay, so first, what is the style? Okay, so style is the, suppose if I write the style equal to background green. Okay, so what is this? This is our static property, and all the place this would be static. But what we want to do, our problem statement, this should be applied based on the checked in. If this is true, then it should be green, else this should be red. So how you will achieve this? Right now, definitely when it's come to the dynamic, you need to bind the property. So if you have only one style, you can bind style. This is not directive. Again, this is not directive, this is the inline properties. I will show you. So I can give the background, and this would be if now. So this is the property, and now this would be the expression. So what would be the expression? If hero dot checked in would be true, hero dot checked in is true, then green color will be written, else red color would be written, right? So our style will be applicable, right? So see there, so we have the class already there, and this is the style background green, right? If you see there, this is the tour class and background is the red. Why? Because now Angular is handling this style dynamically, right? So but again, how this style, this is not a at, this is not a given by the Angular, this is the native properties. If you want to see, I will show you. Suppose this is the $0 representing this span, right? So I am just removing, clearing everything. Console dot log $0. So this is a span. Now I see the JavaScript form, how JavaScript understand this span. Dir and $0. Okay, so if you see this here, if you search what style, right? Because definitely we only bind this property which is available there. So right, style, I search, yes. So this is the style, and this is the type of object. So here all the object, all the property inside the object is available which you can bind there. Style dot any property. So what property you bound, that is the background. So you can see there would be a background property which you have bound. This is the background, that's why this is showing the green, right? So that's why you can bind the style property. If you need to bind only one property, you can use the style dot background. Now the question, if you need to bind multiple properties dynamically, how you will achieve that, right? So again, you will copy this div, you will go there, and what you will do, again you have the same syntax. What was the ng class, right? So what you need to do, you need to write ng style. Okay, and now this property is not inside this native. So who is given? Common module, which is already we had inside the browser module. Inside it will take expression, and expression would be the object. And what expression it will take? Definitely all the properties which is inside of this style object. So first property is background, and it takes the proper expression, right? And this will evaluate this expression. Okay, so this is the first expression. I remove this, no need this there. See, if you see second, tour or heroes, this is perfectly the same, right? If you see this, see, this is the ng style binding happening there, right? So you can bind more property. You just give the comma and the second property, whatever color based on the some expression. Or if you want to give, suppose just I, for the example, border, I'm giving the static property, right? So this would be the border. Okay, and I'm giving 1 pixel solid yellow, right? So I have given this. So see what will happen. See, this is the 1 pixel yellow surrounding with each and every circle, right? If I give the 5 pixel, you can see more, right? So what is happening? right? 5 pixel is there. So what is happening? So you can give any property you can bind there, right? Right, see how many property you bind, just you need to give the style property name, and the second in the this is the key, and the value, this should be the expression, which expression written based on the condition, what value you want to return there, right? So this is too powerful. So we have seen how we can bind our classes to style using classes name, and how we can give the style using the inline css.